let's queer up education. Iowa School District lists 374 books as banned, many of which aren't in school libraries. Hundreds of books would be banned in Urbandale schools, providing the first full scope of just how many titles could be removed from schools under a new Iowa law that forbids teaching gender identity and prohibits publications depicting sex acts. The Des Moines Register obtained a list of 374 books from the Urbandale Community School District, believes that it could violate Senate Bill 496, which, among other changes, requires teachers and administrators to review their libraries and classrooms for books that depict sex acts and prohibits buying them in the first place. The law also prohibits schools from providing instruction about gender identity or sexual orientation before 7th grade, which Urbandale officials believe includes books. Teachers in the school district of about 4,000 students northwest of Des Moines have been instructed to remove those books, which include children's pictures books, titles with LGBTQ+ themes, and classics like Ulysses, Catcher in the Rye, The Color Purple, and The Color Purple. Dena Claire, spokesperson for the Urbandale School District, said the list is meant to provide guidance to K-12 teachers about books that may violate state law. The list does not necessarily represent current books in the district system, but if a book is on the list, or if a book is present in a classroom or library collection, Claire said it must be removed. What is a sex act? I mean, I'm serious. What is a sex act? Is a kiss a sex act? Is a same-sex kiss a sex act? Why are we removing picture books, coloring books? And I think the key phrase in this story is teaching about gender identity and sexual orientation. That's really what it's about. Because I have a feeling princesses kissing toads and turning them into princes or whatever it is going to be just fine. This is about the gays. This is about the LGBTQ community under the cover of a broad law that's really going to be enforced to a very narrow possibility.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. We've heard this many, many times before.
Oh, no. I'm yawning in boredom because I'm thinking about Iowa.
Well, Iowa is once again, however, living up to the Iowa acronym, which is idiots out wandering around. And what's particularly shocking about this is that in 1978, Iowa, which has long been a red state, it repealed its state law criminalizing same-sex activity in 1978. That was long before Midwestern states, including the formerly more progressive Wisconsin. So the fact that this is happening in Iowa, it's a little shocking.
You know, I keep yawning because I'm bored to tears because I'm thinking about Iowa. They banned 374 books. Why not just get it over with and ban all reading in Iowa? Because you've got cornfields, and really that's all you need in Iowa is just some cornfields, because you don't need any intellectual stimulation. And clearly the governor in Iowa, who we've reported on repeatedly, and Iowa in general, clearly that's what they're pursuing. You know, I have been to 147 countries in the world. Iowa is the least visited state that I have visited of all 50 states that I have visited. I have only been to Des Moines, and I will say that Des Moines is the most boring city of a major metropolitan city, if you call Des Moines that, of any state in America. And that is a pretty low bar, and Des Moines is the worst. I've never been to Urbandale, Iowa. I'm pretty sure I'd never want to go to Urbandale, Iowa, because they don't believe in books. I hope that there's a newspaper in Urbandale, Iowa. I'm not sure there is, but if there is a newspaper in Urbandale, Iowa, we're going to share this report. And we called the newspaper specifically out in Urbandale. Gosh, I really hope your editorial board, if the one guy that's writing the paper in Urbandale, Iowa still exists, and you're really coming out loud and clear and strong against the ridiculousness of the story that we're repeating and telling that's going on in the schools. Catcher in the Rye, Color Purple. You know, there was a very famous and the most famous book and short story that's ever been written on Iowa, and it's called Field of Dreams. I wonder if that book is going to make the list. And at the end of the day, If it does, or it doesn't, I very much imagine that Iowa is going to do the only thing left to do in Iowa, which is to sit in bleachers in a cornfield that was leveled to watch an imaginary baseball game, because that's all there's left to do in Iowa. We are Queer News Tonight, the world's first and only live daily LGBTQ+ evening news show, brought to you from Happening Out Television Network. We operate in the same model of PBS and NPR, but for the LGBTQ+ community. We educate, inform, and entertain by supporting the 10 pillars of our LGBTQ+ community, with more than 100,000 a week watching us on Roku, Apple Television, and other channels. To keep the story going, we accept donations with 100% transparency. Stay updated and live authentically with Queer News Tonight.